from the Naylor House Studios in the heart of the 254. It's time for Connecting the Dots.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
This year we celebrate 250 years as a country. 250 years of mostly good times, but definitely in the pursuit of freedom. If we didn't feel there was actual freedom, we've certainly been fighting for a version of it. And it's all about perspective. And that perspective gets formed through years of influence and maturity, life experiences that help us define our opinions and what ultimately is important to us. I remember being the age of many of those kids you just heard from. It was 1976 and our country was celebrating our bicentennial or 200th anniversary. If you're a little bit older than me, you might remember the mid to late 70s in a much different way, with opinions formed by politics or the economy or even the music of the time. As for me, I was a lot like the kids you just saw. Happy, excited about my life, and most certainly optimistic about the future. Sure, I might not have understood every word of what we said each day in class as we recited the Pledge of Allegiance, but I certainly understood, and it was certainly taught, that one nation under God was not just okay to say, but something we could rally around. Now it's time to not only recognize, but celebrate the freedoms we realize, along with the awesome opportunity we have to live in the greatest country in the history of the world. For this week's episode, I sent Riley and Emily out into the town to hear from citizens on what they have on their mind this Independence Week.
What does freedom mean to you?
I think for me, it's thinking about like our Constitution, how it talks about, that we have God-given rights, and just looking at everybody as equal, and that we exist together on a common ground. So, and I love that we get to celebrate that still.
Freedom has to mean choices. Yeah. We get choices to choose whatever we want to be, who we want to be, and what we want to do.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
To me, freedom is the essence of America. It's kind of what we're built on, and it's the whole principle and the premise behind what we get to do, what we do, and who we are. So I love that word, by the way.
Freedom means the ability to make choices. Yes, there's going to be consequences, but consequences can be good or bad. Mm-hmm. But freedom means that I have that ability to choose.
What is a dream or goal you're working toward?
I'm always working towards the idea of better in my classes and being able to connect better with students so that when they leave the class, they are glad they took it and they can take some of that knowledge with them. So that's kind of a never-ending quest for me.
I'm saving up for college right now. I'm saving up to be an FX makeup artist. So awesome. That's something I've been trying to get to right now.
Yes.
Thirdly, what makes Stephenville feel like home?
The people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I spent a lot of time, when I was in college, I lived down in College Station. It was a much bigger area. So since moving to Stephenville, I guess 6 years ago, one of the main reasons that this feels like home is that it's a smaller community. A lot of people are a lot more friendly. And just like the area that I live in, we are on large pieces of property, but we're friends with all our neighbors.
So I grew up in kind of a smaller town, and my husband is a retired Marine, and we traveled to a lot of bigger cities, and we said, nah, we like this smaller, more intimate setting where people it's big enough that you don't run into everybody at the store, but you still know everybody, mm-hmm. and it's good. And I think everyone around us are so kind. I've not met a super ugly person here. Mm-hmm. And so we just fell in love with it. COVID brought us here, or the Lord brought us here. I don't know which one would be the better option, but we got here and we fell in love with it.
It has always maintained that small town community feel. And, and having like the same places that have been here for decades that I still enjoy. Like I love going to Montana's on a Friday night. Or, it just hasn't, even though we're seeing growth in the last few years, it's not getting so big that it's lost that small community feel.
I think the people make Stephenville what it is. It's kind of like Tarleton students make it what it is, you know, and I love that. And I think that the town of Stephenville is, the people who live here are generally, it's a community. They love being here, they want to help, and everybody gets involved, and I think that's a great thing.
And in one word, what does America mean to you?
Life.
Opportunity.
That's an easy one. It means freedom.
Just say home.
Yeah.
You know, I'm proud to be here. I know it's cliche, proud to be American, but yeah, home.
Yeah. Freedom.
Thank you, Ms. Meta.
Thank you.
But, you know, patriotism is a big part of what brought my wife and I back to Stephenville. So in 2020, COVID, we were living right outside of Austin. It was hard to go get fuel, you know. It's hard to go get fuel, groceries, anything, because things were so shut down. And my kids were starting in school. I've got a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old. And so my daughter was about to start school. My son was about to start school. I didn't know what school looked like with social distancing and masks. And I understand we had to be safe, but for sure. But my wife and I saw Stephenville, Texas, was having a 4th of July parade. And my buddy Ben Pinkson, one of my really good friends here, Ben said, we're not canceling America's birthday in Stephenville, Texas.
There you go.
And so we got in the car in 2020 for 4th of July, and we drove to Stephenville, Texas.
I love the viewpoints of some of our friends and neighbors, people who love Stephenville and who understand how lucky we are to, at the very least, take advantage of our freedom to realize our version of the American dream. But here's my takeaway for today's episode. July 4th may be the official day of celebration, highlighting that momentous day in 1776 that somehow has led to barbecues and lake days and fireworks shows at the park. But shouldn't we consider every day to be Independence Day? I mean, are we practicing freedom every day? Across the country, there's a lot of national coverage over our 250 years as a country. Perhaps this milestone will actually enhance the patriotism of our fellow citizens in a more sustainable way. Oh, I get that it can be easy to get wrapped around the axle with our daily challenges, be it work or family, finances, or sometimes even what's for dinner tonight. I'm as bad as anyone because when I pour into something, I'm all in. Deadlines, reports, negotiations, people. Goodness gracious, some people just seem to get in the way. But do we really have it that bad? Can you imagine the alternative? How many news stories do we hear about other countries whose citizens face oppression, lack of clean water, famine, or political strife that will make even the most politically astute American realize our system of government actually has a fighting chance of succeeding? At the beginning of this episode, we brought out a few kids to kick things off in a positive way. They all have that sparkle in their eye and an innocence which supersedes any challenges that they might have in their life. If you can remember back to when you were younger, things were simpler. We had hope. We had courage. Every experience prepared us for the next step in our life's journey. Did we take it for granted that our lives were pretty good? Sure we did. But what we didn't know or even understand was that many people fought for the freedoms we enjoy today. But I hope and pray that all of us, myself included, will think about and be thankful for American freedom each and every day, and not just on this particular midsummer recognized work holiday. It's definitely a choice. You might have to fight the negative mindset that has replaced that innocence of your youth, but we can all do it. Speaking of fighting, this week of celebration reminds us of the sacrifices so many of our soldiers have faced throughout the past 250 years, which has led to and secured the freedom we enjoy today. I certainly hope and pray that the fight they endured on our behalf is appreciated, not only on July 4th, but each and every day of the year. That's Connecting the Dots for this week. Happy Independence Year.